Hello, everybody. This is Marvin LeBlanc. Welcome to tonight's live broadcast on Periscope. Tonight's title is The 4 Things That Most Important People in Finance Around the World Are Concerned About. Thank you so much for joining, and as always, we are on a Periscope. Jessica's in the house, and let me go ahead and share with you ahead of time my contact information. Marvin LeBlanc. There you can see it. Please get your paper and pen ready because this is going to be rapid fire. Obviously, you can contact me at my website. The most important thing to remember is just to Google my name, Marvin LeBlanc, and you'll be able to find me. Thank you so much for coming on to Periscope and sharing your hearts, and also sharing with your followers this important content. And as always, I'm here to answer the concerns that you guys have sent me in the email, because I'm here to serve you. Your thoughts on the issues surrounding, can you send that to me again? I didn't get a chance to read it all. My thoughts on the conditions surrounding, whoever that was, I missed it. Also, at any time you can email me at marvinleblanc.com, and I will respond to your emails. If you do not receive a response from me inside of 48 hours, you can assume one of two things. Number one, I am dead. I'm not kidding. Or number two, I never got it. So you matter is what I'm trying to communicate out there. Again, let me show this to you, and then I'll start the material. Perry10k.com is a collaborators platform, and it is a dream come true of givers that share important content. This is not all about selling as much as it is about delivering unbelievable content. So let me start. The 4 things the most important people in finance are concerned about is number 1. You're hearing about the Chinese economy. Oh, the economy in China. Big predictions are out there that by year end, they're pretty much going into the tank, and we're fearing for the worst by year end. Number 2, financial pundits on the news are beating you up about the risk involved on the emerging market crisis. And what we're talking about in those emerging markets are specifically those emerging countries that have drastically slowed their growth recently. And tied to that is number 3, the emerging markets crisis, as it actually could drastically affect the developed markets such as the United States. How can that affect you? So you're hearing on all of these news shows concerns about that. And man, is there ever a lot of fear mongering. And so the reason I'm here tonight is to take care of some of those fears. Number 1, they're worried about the Chinese economy. Number 2, the risk of the emerging market crisis. Number 3, how the emerging market crisis could actually drastically affect the developed markets. And number 4 is the exchange rate. Now, as you know, China's currency is being devalued, and so that's obviously going to drastically reduce inevitably the exchange rates are actually going to be coming up. So the dollar has a risk of being devalued more. Now, having just told you what they're telling you is their biggest concern, I just said the finance people of the world are concerned about that. But none of what I just said should you be concerned about. Really? Why is it that we shouldn't be concerned with that? Because that is not your number 1 risk. You are an individual consumer, and you actually have a lot of control that's unrelated to those 4 factors. So that's good news. There's actually control out there, right? Schemotherapy, I hope I'm saying that right. Just click on those hearts. Go for it, baby. It's fine with me. But none of those 4 items I just covered had anything to do with your biggest concern, because tonight I want to tell you your number one concern is longevity risk. Longevity risk? Absolutely. Longevity risk has to do with the fact that you actually could outlive your income. You see, here's the situation. There's really only about 3 things that can happen with you if you in your life. You can become disabled, you can die too soon, or you can live too long. Now, I've been an insurance entrepreneur since the late 80s in the state of Louisiana. And so I'm offering you value all across the United States and the world, quite frankly, because more than likely you don't live in the state of Louisiana, so I might not be able to financially benefit at all from this scope, but I don't care. Why is that? Because you need the information. Someone in your hometown should be able to help you with the concepts that I'm sharing with you tonight. So why is longevity risk our number one concern? Well, because we can now outlive our income. There is somebody in the house from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, a place that I love. Obviously, I'm from LSU, and yes, you can see my purple and gold office. So that's just a little look inside of who I am. You can outlive your income, and then what I'm seeing a lot of happening in America is people are retiring too soon. Really? Well, they've worked 30 or 40 years. Working 30 or 40 years has absolutely nothing to do with when a person is financially capable of retiring. I happen to know an individual, he's my dad, that retired at age 58. And at the end of every year, he has more income than he had the year before. Why? Because he had an excellent planner that dotted the I's and crossed the T's and sharpened the pencil to make sure it would happen. But there's folks out there that don't have the benefit of the knowledge, or they refuse to study and learn. Now, here's the thing now. You've got to own some of this. A person who won't read and study is no better off than a person who can't read and study. So you got to take some responsibility and educate yourself. All of this information is publicly available. And before I get to the end, if I forget, I want to say it now, SSA.gov, Social Security Administration.gov, is a wealth of information that will help you feel a lot better whenever you sharpen the pencil and whenever you decide when it's time for you to retire. Here's the deal. Most people have 1 or 2 checks coming in at retirement. And rarely do most people have 3 checks coming in. Really? Yeah, and I'm saying to you tonight that you need to have at least 3 checks coming in. Now, number 1 check is a Social Security check. What is a Social Security check? Well, it's a lifetime guaranteed income. And I ran some numbers right before I came on. If you retire making $40,000 and you've got enough credits in, at age 62, they're going to send you a check for about $1,729 a month. How do you feel about that? It depends on your financial situation. It depends on what your dreams are for what you want to accomplish in retirement. So if I wait and I don't take that retirement at 62, and so that would be $1,729 if you were earning $40,000 a year. If I wait to 65, just 3 years longer, they'll start sending me a check for $2,129. Which is basically $400 more per month because I waited for an extra 3 years. And if I waited to 67, which is an extra 5 years, instead of getting a check at 62, they'll start sending me a check for $2,456. Now, some of you might be okay with that, but others, if you put a sharp pencil to it, $2,456 whenever you're retiring and starting to draw that money at 67 probably will not be enough to get you out of anything more than what I would call a just-in-case retirement. What is a just-in-case retirement? Well, we've retired, but we really don't go anywhere, and we don't do much eating out. We don't really go to a lot of trips and fancy places, and we're certainly probably not in a golf club, country club, or tennis, or whatever we like to do, social clubs, theater. Why? Because we're sitting at home just in case. We're waiting because we don't have enough income coming in. You see, it's really not about your assets. What it's really about is your income. Okay, it's about your checks that are coming in whenever you're in retirement. If you have, we've all heard, oh, I want to have 100,000, 200,000, 300,000 of assets. Assets are just that. They're assets. What you need are checks, guaranteed lifetime income checks whenever you're in retirement. So the number one check people get in retirement is a Social Security check. The number two check that people get in retirement could be a company or corporate pension check. And I'm not going into all the products and all. That's not what this scope is about. What this scope is about to increase your mental horizons as to what is available and what you can do to actually control your finances and not be so consumed with the financial pundits that are talking about the Chinese economy, the emerging markets are failing, how the emerging markets, whenever they fail, they're going to cause a crisis for the developed markets. Okay, oh, my exchange rate's going to go up. None of that is your concern, beautiful people. What you're concerned is, how can I get a minimum of 3 really good checks coming in my retirement? So what's check number one? Check number one is a Social Security check. Check number 2 is a corporate pension sort of check. Both of them are guaranteed lifetime income checks. And then check number 3, the reason I'm talking to you about check number 3 is very rarely is check number 1 and check number 2 sufficient. An example, that 40-year-old that retired at 62 was going to get $1,729 from the Social Security Administration. Okay, so they might have that, and they may or may not have a corporate pension check coming in. So if they only have one check, more than likely they're not going to be retired. They're still going to have to work some sort of part-time job. Okay, it's going to be very difficult for them. So what you're looking for is that third check. What you're looking for is, if you can't have anything but a Social Security check and you don't have a corporate pension check, then you need a third check. And that third check, when you check with your trusted financial advisor in your area, okay, they can talk to you about another guaranteed lifetime income check, except that check is really different. Really? Yeah. That check is protected from those 4 things that I've repeated a couple of 3 times. Okay, it's protected. You don't have to worry about the Chinese economy. You don't have to worry about emerging markets or how they affect developed markets or your exchange rates. Okay, because that particular program doesn't have risk. All of those risks have already been worked out. There's a reason my father was able to retire at 58 and he continues to have more income at the end of the year. It's not because I'm most intelligent Einstein. What I did was I did careful planning for him so that it's all about math. It's not about intelligence or science. It is about studying. Here's the fact that's important for you to know. Okay, by 2020, the government is going to raise the full retirement age from 65 to 67. that means that your Social Security payments are going to be lower if you start at 62. Here's another fact. 33% of all men, statistically based on mortality statistics, are going to live beyond 90. So that means that 33 out of every 100 men are going to live beyond 90. 44% of women, 44 out of 100 women are going to live beyond 90. Okay? 63% of all married couples. Hey Sadie, thanks for coming in the house. I saw Little Coon also joined, and he's in the house. Little Coon, throw up some hearts there. You're in my mind and in my soul on a daily basis. 63% of all married couples are going to live beyond 90. Beyond 90. So here's the question. Will your plan and budget last till age 90? You need to ask yourself that. For those of you who want to click on the bottom right side in the little Periscope man and share this with your followers, I would be honored to share this content with other people that could benefit. Will your plan and budget last past 90? Now watch this question. If you're married and your budget and plan only lasts till 90, 63% of the time that plan will fail before both spouses die. So, how's that Social Security check looking right now? That's probably going to be insufficient. You might have already guessed by now, my father has at least 3 of those different checks coming in because of proper planning. And you too have a chance right now to control your future by asking the right questions with the right professional. The last thing I want to mention before I close is you want to take this down. It's ssa.gov. Social Security Administration, ssa.gov. At ssa.gov is a retirement estimator. When you go and look at that retirement estimator, I'm telling you, when I did it earlier tonight, you probably can throw in your numbers literally in less than 60 seconds. Less than 60 seconds, you can throw in that retirement estimator. Do the calculations. Be responsible for your financial future. Again, for those of you who had joined me late, this is my information. The free blog is available for you at MarvinLeBlanc.com/blog. At that blog, there's over 200 different articles on all sorts of motivation, leadership, customer service, improvement. So by all means, go over there and just browse around, enjoy it. There's absolutely no charge at MarvinLeBlanc.com/blog. And as always, if you see this line right here, it says replays at catch.me/MarvinLeBlanc. So for those of you that have joined me late, I'm sorry that you didn't catch the earlier part of the broadcast, but you can simply go in a short period of time to catch.me/MarvinLeBlanc and pick that up. The other thing that you'll see down there is my paypal.me/MarvinLeBlanc account. And what that is there for is that if you believe that this content is worthy to you, then go ahead and leave a tip or donation there. All of the donations that go to there, I basically take and I refunnel it to other speakers, authors that are delivering marvelousness all across the broadcast. And for tonight, if you go and do a share, hello Leo, there's a code, and the code that you would throw in is 6-0. My code for tonight, 6-0, happens to be because LSU football is 6-0, and I'm actually much more than a fan. It's much deeper than that. And so if you go over there, I have a total of 3 items. I will send you 2 items for $20 of a donation, or I will send 3 items for $25. What are those items? Well, the first is, in case you didn't know, because that wasn't tonight's topic, I am an Amazon Kindle best-selling author with this book called Come Hell or High Water, Life Lessons from Hurricane Katrina, Facing Life's Greatest Challenges No Matter What. So I am a South Louisiana boy that was in New Orleans and lost an insurance office, lost his home. 43 years old. I had an opportunity to become homeless. Man, wasn't that a great day whenever my father invited me into his bedroom closet and said, "Son, why don't you go ahead and pick out some clothes?" That's a story for another day, isn't it? So that's the book, Come Hell or High Water. How can you overcome what you're going through and come back and get back on top? It's all right here. Real live stuff. This is the version of Katrina that you have never heard on the television. This is the untold story. Come Hell or High Water, Life Lessons from Hurricane Katrina. Also, a key to my comeback is because of my mentor. His name is Jim Winter. He wrote this book called Split Second Choice, The Power of Attitude. That too is available tonight. And not only are those 2 things available tonight, but also for those people that may or may not know, I'm a personal performance coach for small business owners and people that are in the profession of sales. And so this is a CD set with great tracks, about 5 different tracks on explaining and defining what the world of professional sales really is about, because you may have never heard. Matter of fact, I'm positive if you've never heard me personally define sales, you really don't even know. More than likely, you don't even know the root word of the word sell. And so that alone is worth this CD. It also talks about the 4 essential questions for an informal sales conversation. Well, Marvin, what do I say? I kind of clam up, well, but you're just a natural. Man, nothing is further from the truth. Everything that has come to me, I have had to work intentionally on those skills. No different than the skill right now of this Periscope is a skill that I'm slowly but surely getting better at. But this is actually more uncomfortable for me than whenever I'm doing a speech in front of a corporation of 500 to 1,000 people. Quite frankly, that's a lot more comfortable. Why? Because I'm a Cajun man, and I grew up telling stories, and I grew up listening to stories, and I grew up constantly interacting. In my home, there was always love, there was always music, there was always a lot of dancing, there was always a ton of kids around. Although I'm an only child, there was still a lot of kids in my house. It's interesting, I was the only child, but I wasn't the favorite. Oh, dang. Go figure. So anyhow, there you have it. You would just drop an email to me at Marvin@MarvinLeBlanc. Tell me that you made a donation and tell me what you want. Do you want the CDs? You want the Split Second Choice? You want Come Hell or High Water? Or you want all 3 of them? It makes no difference to me, because I am going to continue to give. I am going to continue to encourage you to live your life. Matter of fact, life is so risky. Rumor has it we're not getting out alive. Okay, so be careful on who you spend your time with, and get away from those energy vampires that suck the lifeblood out of you. You have a choice. There's some book, I think it's called the Bible, that says, stand guard at the gateway of your mind. What that says is you have to be responsible for what you take in. I hope I've been responsible to you tonight in sharing great content. Don't worry about what the financial pundits are telling you. Worry about getting yourself a minimum of 3 different checks when it's time for you to retire. I'm Marvin LeBlanc. I wish you peace. I wish you love. And I wish you gumbo. Good night from South Louisiana, everybody. Be marvelous.